I'm Sku,
I'm Scott.
and it's that time again.
OSD Toy Review. So Sku, of all Superman's villains, how many can you name that aren't Lex Luthor or General Zod?
There was that nuclear guy in that bad Superman movie.
We don't talk about Superman 4.
We don't.
We just don't.
Stop! Don't do it! The people!
I'm talking about his most famous, least used in the movies villain, Brainiac.
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 Brainiac! Brainiac! Brainiac!
Brainiac. Okay.
Who is Brainiac?
Brainiac is a computer villain that was originated in the 1950s. Interestingly enough, he's been replete throughout the comic books. He's had multiple action figures done of him, which we'll be taking a look at a few of them here. And of course, he's also been used in a lot of the cartoons.
I am flesh and machine. I am the strength of 10,000 worlds.
So I thought what we might do is take a look at the evolution of the character as displayed through some of his toys.
Okay, great.
So, this is Brainiac as he first appeared. Now this figure is from the DC Direct History of the DC Universe line,
Yep.
and this is basically how he looked when he first showed up. It's not that old a toy, but it's a representation of his first outfit, which frankly looks pretty ridiculous.
It does look rather ridiculous. Why is he wearing that get-up? Is it just because it's the 1950s and they didn't know any better, or what?
It's 1950s and space.
Oh,
is
of course. So
apparently
he's got to
enough.
wear pink and
Yeah.
have a big astro gun and boots,
Yeah,
and he's got to
yeah.
be green.
Look, I just want some pants. A decent pair of pants.
What's the next one we've got here?
Okay. Well, this version is perhaps a little bit more well known for the main reason that this is the design they gave him in the late 70s, early 80s.
Don't you recognize me, Darkseid? Brainiac.
Now, this is quite a change from the last one.
This is a massive change. This really emphasizes the whole machine aspect of it. Now, he's redesigned, I believe it was by an artist called George Perez. This lasted throughout the 80s and was his defining look for that period, and strangely it's not one that they've really come back to very much. But it's got that very much that sort of alien Terminator sort of look
Right,
to it.
yep.
This is my personally preferred version of the character. He really comes across as an alien computer villain.
Absolutely.
And you've got some nice detail inside these little clear plastic parts where you can see circuitry and machinery and everything, and it's just a really nice paint job.
Why the total redesign from the original character? Why is he a sort of robot-looking machine? Is there a story of how he got into this body? Or?
There's not much of a story as to why he changed his look so much.
I am Brainiac. But you look nothing like him.
I think it was just pretty much a case of the Terminator was popular.
Yeah.
They realised that his previous look simply wasn't cutting it in terms of being a scary villain. So this was the redesign that they came up with, which sort of played more on those technological fears rather than just a green-skinned guy with some dots on his forehead.
And a pink top
sure.
on, yeah.
There's really no way to make a tight pink top threatening, I don't think.
So what's the next one you've brought up?
So, in the late 90s, DC brought it back again and decided that for a storyline which was Superman Y2K, what they do is they bring them back, and in the comics this time they'd actually have the character computer generated inside the hand-drawn comics. And so that led to this version, which is sometimes referred to as Brainiac 13. It's interesting that they've gone away from the Terminator-like design completely.
Yeah.
They've retained the green skin element.
I was
of
going
the
to say they've
original.
added a lot more sort of colour. Well, not
Yeah.
a lot of colour, but they've added some bright colours.
Yeah,
too,
I mean, they've gone for the classic green and purple
Yeah.
colour scheme with some of these gold bits in there to highlight it as well.
And a sort of skull
Yeah, again retaining
motif on
that skull motif, which is quite interesting. And apparently he's decided that the pink shirt is no longer scary, but purple bike pants are.
A decent pair of pants.
And finally, there's one more.
Finally, we have what is his most recent incarnation,
Wow.
which again, fairly different from a lot of the other versions, but the head goes back a lot more to that very original.
It does.
Quite big and bulky, so he definitely has a sort of physical threat to him.
Yep. Which he did in the very first incantation.
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah. But yeah, it's a very interesting, different look again, and it just really shows that he doesn't have the central motif as much as other villains do, where they have the same sort of costume right the way through, which is just tinkered. He's been quite radically developed over time, while still being the same computer villain.
You should not exist outside my control.
Sorry to disappoint.
So 4 different figures from, the last 60 years?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
They do, and it really shows how one character can change over time. And really, it's amazing that a character this famous in the comic books with so many different views really hasn't penetrated the mainstream enough for people to really know him outside of people who've seen some of the cartoons.
So maybe there is, maybe he will show himself in the not too distant future. There's nothing concrete.
Nothing concrete at the moment. Back when Tim Burton was going to be doing a Superman movie, Brainiac was put forward as the villain for that one, but that movie never came about, so we still haven't seen him on screen yet. So whether they'll do that for another Man of Steel movie or possibly a Justice League movie, who knows?
I am Brainiac, and the Earth will be mine.
So we hope that you've enjoyed this brief discussion of the history of Brainiac, the biggest Superman villain you've probably never heard of.
And if you guys have any questions about these toys or any other toys, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe to us.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Share.
Share with everybody. And we'll see you next time on OSD.
See ya.